everything we worked for all comes down to today and paid off. Working hard every morning, getting up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
When you first slipped that pass over to Budeman, did you expect to get it back?
No, actually I did. I was surprised when I got it back.
Yeah.
And right before that, actually, number 19, Shane Tracy made a behind-the-back pass to me, which I was also surprised to get that.
Sure.
So I gave it to Budeman because I know all his talent he has. So I could put it away, and I got it right back, and it was open net.
Sure.
What does it say about him that he's willing to make that extra pass instead of shooting it like their coach was saying? If he shoots it, it might go right into the goalie. What does it say about him as a player that he's willing
shows
to
that he's just
pass?
like sportsmanship, not necessarily sportsmanship, but just like the love of the game, and us. Not just he doesn't care. He gets the goal to win as long as the team wins. That's all he cares about. We came out on top, and this is amazing.
These games usually end on ugly goals and fluky goals. That was about as perfect.
That's about as pretty as it gets. In the last two games, the game-winning goals have been about as pretty as they get. Between Greg's goal on Wednesday night and then Jamie's goal tonight, I'm yelling shoot from the bench, and they keep passing the puck, and I'm yelling shoot again, and that was just, Dylan's an excellent goalie. That's the kind of goal you need to score against him. He's that good, and to get him way out of the net the way he was is the way to score. And Jamie just buried it, and that's the way it ends.
Griffin had a lot of praise for Greg not taking that last shot, passing it at the last minute.
Yeah, Greg's a shooter, and for him to pull back and to pass that really says a lot about the kind of kid he is and how unselfish he is. I'm always telling him to shoot the puck more, but also use his line mates. And he did that a very good job of that tonight, and he's done that all year long. He's been a key cog in this team for 4 years. As a freshman, I haven't seen too many freshmen play the way he did, and then to finish it as a senior, win the whole thing.
How important was it not just to get to this game, but to get a win in this game? After all the semifinal struggles and things like that, how important was it to get the win in the first try?
It's huge. It's unbelievable to get here and win. Personally, as a player, from high school to college, been in finals a bunch of times and never have won anything, and then to come in tonight and the first try to win it was incredible. And in overtime, I just kind of sat back and let the kids play, shortened the bench a little bit, a couple different line changes, but I said, guys, my coaching is done. It's up to you guys at this point, because at that point, lucky bounces, anything goes, and like you said, usually it's an ugly goal, a crazy bounce, but a beautiful goal to win it, and it's an unbelievable feeling. It hasn't really set in yet. It really hasn't.
What can you say about Oyster River? And they gave you everything they had all season long.
They executed their game plan to perfection tonight, and they would sit back, lull us into making mistakes, and then capitalize on it. And I can't believe that they didn't. I thought, every time that Sean Leahy got the puck, my heart was in my throat, because I thought he would somehow, some way, bounce off a foot, off an ankle, off an elbow, get back on the stick and score. He did that against us during the regular season, and Griff has done an unbelievable job. In my eyes, I voted for him to be Coach of the Year. I thought he should be. So, and he's got one kid that has all their points pretty much, and to go come all the way to the finals, lose 2 games all year long. He's done an unbelievable job with that team.
All right, 2 years in a row in OT. What do you say to the guys after a loss like that?
You got to talk about how well we played, how great a season we had. It's tough. There's only one team that can walk out of here with a state championship and a victory every year, and one bounce of a puck, or one good pass, or just the inside of a post versus the outside of a post, and we're walking out of here with a championship. So, we talked about how great a season we had, and both teams should be walking out feeling like they're winners, but it's not how the game's played, and it's hard to take right now.
Came in for the last breakaway. What did you see? Is that on their part? Is that about as perfectly as you can run that transition break?
We got caught with 3 guys down low, and we didn't chip one of their guys off, and they came out of the zone with speed, and it was basically a 4-on-2, and they tic-tac-toe the puck pretty good, and Dylan did his best he could to try and keep the initial shot out, and obviously Budeman is an unbelievable player, could have shot the puck right there into our goalie, and that would have been it, and he made the great play and slid it over to the guy looking at the open net. So great player with great puck, with a stick on his, the puck on his stick at the game time, and he found the right play.
Talking about Budeman, talk a little bit about what makes him so hard to defend, and where he ranks in your eyes in players in the division.
Obviously he's one of the top 3 or 4 forwards in our division, and I think in the state. I think Division II high school hockey this year was pretty close to being right comparable with the Division I level. We had some prolific scorers between Zach Fox and Sean Leahy and Greg Budeman. I think any one of those, and then you look at the Concords, Kyle Marceau. I think all 4 of them match up together. So, Greg made a great. You got to take your hats off. He made a great pass over when he could have taken the shot. Dylan might have smothered that puck up. He'd been doing a good job all night long, smothering for shots. And he made their smart play, slid it over, and he let somebody else be the ultimate hero, but he made the play of the game.
Coach, you mentioned Sean. He's maybe the most prolific scorer in all of New Hampshire hockey this season. Can you just talk a little bit about his performance this year and what's meant to your team?
Yeah, I mean, Shawnee absolutely stepped up his game this year. You know, coming into the season in 2 years of high school hockey, he only had 23 points, and obviously he's leaving this year with 50-something points. He's been our go-to scorer all year long, but you know, all three guys in that line, you know, take credit. Obviously, Craig Goddard stepped up his game today. Was our goal scorer. Sean, unfortunately, was a little under the weather. He'd been battling a cold for the last week, and socked some strength out of him. He gave everything he could, but I think he was just a half a step behind what his typical style would be, and Craig picked up the load, but I mean, Sean had one of the best high school hockey seasons I've ever coached in my career.
What do you say to Sean and the rest of the outgoing seniors now at the end of the season?
You got to hold your head up high. You're the most successful team in Oyster River history. You know, 3 state championship finals in 4 years. It's it's hard to say. I mean, unfortunately, I would have hoped that we punched through this year and Coach Walsh could have waited his turn. I've waited my turn, and our team has waited our turn. But it just wasn't in the dice tonight. But it wasn't from lack of effort. It wasn't from lack of ability or lack of talent. It's one goal game in overtime in high school hockey. I mean, they could have been sitting over there, watching us celebrate as well as we are doing for them.